Pod Chef. Pod Chef. Pod Chef. Pod Chef. You're listening to Pod Chef. When I say pod, y'all say chef. Pod Chef. You listening to Pod Chef. It's a podcast about Top Chef, and that's a broadcast. It's on TV, and you can watch it. They got 19 seasons, that's a lot, kid, but you can skip those. We do recaps about the whole show, not the food though, but the other stuff. Yeah. You're now listening to Pod Chef, the only official podcast about the TV show Top Chef, with your hosts, Jamal, Brian, and Reeves. And I only said their first names because I don't know everyone's last name, and I'm trying to be polite. Now enjoy the show.
Welcome to Pod Chef, the one and only official Top Chef podcast, the only official rewatch Top Chef podcast. If you hear anyone else say that they have a Top Chef rewatch podcast, they've stolen the idea. They're trying to make it their own. They're taking our bits.
If they say that, do us a favor and go through their catalog of episodes and see how many interviews they've done with contestants.
Yeah.
And if they have more than us, first of all, they don't.
Yeah,
and since they won't, ask yourself, which is the official Top Chef podcast? Is it Pod Chef? Yeah, it probably is.
It is. And if some of you are like, well, I listen to this one podcast that definitely interviews more than you, and they have ad runs at the top, that's look, we're in litigation with them right now to get their ads pulled and to get their guests on our show to talk about.
Another question, is that show funny?
Yeah, that's the real question you should ask yourself. Am I laughing when I hear the show, or am I just
am I just talking about Top Chef?
Am I just talking about the show?
Gross. I watched the show. I know what happened.
Let me see. Do I need to talk about my daily routine? Because I live that too. So no, I don't.
No.
So
you want to hear jokes.
So you come here for the
and
jokes.
Maybe you don't want to hear jokes.
Yeah.
And then you leave us a bad review saying that we are honestly the worst Top Chef podcast.
But at least you left a review.
That's fine too.
Left a review. And some of you who are Reeves fans are like, I don't hear Reeves chiming in.
I hear a lot of Brian today.
Yeah, I hear a lot of Brian at the top of the show, getting kind of upset that he's talking over my man Reeves. Reeves is not here, so Brian will be talking more this episode. Brian is now shifted into the... He's wearing two hats, and I've been talking to him for a while about this because he wears one forward and one backwards. He looks ridiculous. I can't tell if he's coming or going.
You said that if I can have it before I was 30, I can wear it backwards.
Yes, and so he got it before he was 30, so he can wear it backwards.
Mm-hmm.
But Brian is the co-host, and he's his own co-host to the co-host this episode, and he'll be helping with the fantastic guest we have. Another Top Chef contestant guest, and You know what, we've stalled enough because we're gonna get into it, I feel. And so let me just introduce the guest. Okay. Our guest is not only a chef, but also an accomplished artist who works in a variety of media. He was introduced to fine dining at a young age, and immediately, I mean the instant he was introduced to fine dining, wanted to get into the kitchen. So he landed a job as a line cook at Chez Panisse, where he trained for 2 years under Alice Waters. He then moved up to the culinary ranks at multiple restaurants in St. Louis and Portland before heading to the Big Apple to work under Chef David Chang at Momofuku, folks. After that, he moved to Birmingham, Alabama, and served as executive chef for Rodney Scott's Barbecue. Please welcome to the show, from season 18, Top Chef Portland, the nomad with no sugar added, Roscoe Hall. Roscoe Hall is here. Oh yeah, let me hit my sound machine.
Benny the Butcher.
Roscoe, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. This is pretty wild. I haven't done one of these in a very long time.
Well, thank you for picking us.
Marijuana is a great way to handle podcasts.
Uh-huh.
There's a theme with when we get guests from the show. They're always like, "Nah, I'm fine. I'm high.
Yes.
Or I'm drunk." And you know what? Me too. So let's. You know what?
Yeah, we're all there. We're all there.
And if everyone who's listening is not high or drunk, do us a favor. Stop the pause.
Stop.
Yes.
Stop listening.
Go do that.
go get some medical grade stuff.
And sear some tuna.
And slowly dip it into your mouth like it's sliding off of a leather recliner chair.
Yes. Right. Yeah.
And then gobble it up, take 2 puffs, press play again.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to the show.
First of all, look at your hands.
Yeah.
Oh my God, can you believe that? Look at they can move independently. They move and I'm not thinking about it. They just move.
2 of them?
My brain, without doing it. Wait, and they're identical.
One of these feels stronger than the other.
This Roscoe. Is a podcast about Top Chef.
Yes. Roscoe, thank you so much for being here. This is a big one for us. Well, again, for me personally, because you were on my team when I drafted contestants for Top Chef for my fantasy league. You were on my team, and I had high hopes. I was like, this is a new season. You know, they're in the bubble. My man Roscoe, or as I referred to you immediately because I felt a kinship, I called you Sco.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. No, I really do. That's like some real shit. Like only homies say that. You know?
I said Sco's gonna go. That was my mantra for you.
Sco's gonna go.
It was too soon. I think I said it too many times because it happened very quickly. Yeah, I was like, Sco's gone.
Sco is gone.
So we didn't really get to know you, but you gave us, gems of stuff where I was like, man, I hope he goes farther in the show so I can hear about, being a pitmaster and stuff. So tell us about your coming up in the culinary world.
Culinary world coming up. I came up in the 90s in the culinary world. There was no options of Top Chef or TV shows unless you were Jamie Oliver or Emerald. Yeah, we had Emerald.
Yes.
I swear there was a channel. There was like a PBS show, and I thought Padma. There was like this hot Indian lady who would teach you about spices and couscous, and she was on before Naked Chef. But I thought it was Padma, but I don't think she's ever had a cooking show.
It's not Gaida, is it? Is that her name?
No.
Giada? She's
Giada, I mean.
Yeah.
When you met Padma, did you go, hey, you did that show where you were doing the spices? And she was like, that's not me. And you're like, oh, shit.
When I saw Padma, I immediately just fucking put my head down. I was like, God damn it, why the fuck am I here? This is Then I saw Gail, and I was like, hey.
Well, makes 2 of us.
There are Gail people, then there are Padma people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love an exotic lady. Like, I'm a huge Sade fan, but Gail, girl, you want to go to prom?
Yeah. Even if Gail says someone already asked me, I'm going, so I still feel like I won.
Yeah.
She didn't say no. She said someone else. She already said yes, someone else. So technically, I didn't get a no.
Jamal asked if she can save a dance for him.
Yeah.
She loves me. I ran into her once in a hotel elevator. Not like that. Like we're at the James Beard Awards, and I was going downstairs to smoke, and she got on like 3rd floor, and I was like, hi. And Rodney like nudged me. He was like, man, ask her, say something. But anyway, I started cooking in 1995. It was like a punk rock thing. Like if you were a skater or punk, like most chefs pulled you off the street if you applied for like a simple job, and you would learn a trade. Like if it wasn't washing dishes, you learn how to saute or fucking pastry or something. And then I realized I could travel with it. So once I got in college in San Diego, I studied photography. I was a photographer for Transworld Skateboarding magazine for a while. But I stayed constantly cooking in all kinds of restaurants. And then the chef I worked for in Birmingham, I think he helped Alice Waters open the Chez Panisse. So he got me a job, but I had to like write a letter and send it and then give her the return address, my mom's return address. And my mom had to call me to let me know I had the job. And in order to work there, I was homeless for like a year. A buddy of mine was a bouncer at this punk rock club called Gilman Street. And it was where Rancid and Op Ivy and like NoFX and all these bands, like it was like their mecca. And there was an abandoned house next door, and me and a bunch of dudes used to sleep an abandoned house, and I would pay $1,000 a month to park my car in Marin County. I would go there to get clothes and kind of like slut myself out and sleep with women and shit so I could take a shower. But I never told anyone at Chez Panisse I worked there. It just costs a lot of fucking money to live in San Francisco. But once I got enough money, I was like, screw this, it's insane. I went to St. Louis and opened a brewery with some dudes, and then got into grad school at Savannah, Georgia, College of Art and Design, and then bounced around to Baltimore and helped a buddy open a Filipino restaurant. Then I went to Portland and crushed like 6 years of pop-ups. That was before pop-ups got too big. It was right before Obama was elected. There wasn't that many black people in Portland, so it was kind of an easy thing. Especially one, they treated us like fucking
royalty.
Yeah, I feel like Don Cheadle.
Yeah. Can we just take a second and remember how nice people were as soon as Obama got elected?
Oh my god!
There was like a moment there of like this could have been the entire time we've been.
It was amazing. I felt like a Butterfinger. Like it was like the first time people were wearing a Butterfinger. Oh, you're right, Roscoe. I'm like, yeah, girl, yeah. Thank you, Obama.
I was walking down the street and white women were tapping me on the shoulder like, have a good day. And I was like, this is magical.
Yeah, I know. Congratulations. Like, for what?
For what? Yeah, what did I do? I didn't, but thank you. But okay.
I for one had a not great 8 years. And finally they were like, man, get the fuck out of here. Who are you?
Yeah. Brian suffered.
I got a piece of my, I was like, yeah, right. Yep. I earned this.
Brian suffered. It was tough.
I was like, what about me? They're like, what about you?
Yeah.
No more of you.
Yeah.
No more.
And Brian was saying, what about me before a lot of the whataboutism stuff started popping up. So
the fucking whataboutisms, man. I swear, as bitter as an old like punk rocker I am, all this shit's not new. So it's very interesting to see like how you're supposed to all of a sudden like jump on to like, oh yeah, you're right. And like, no, I knew this shit wasn't right. Like you fuck where's like the best thing that's going on right now, and I hate to be like completely naive. Like I love all these strands of like government marijuana. Like I'm a huge fan of traveling to states that have legal marijuana because it's so good. Like it takes the pressure off so much shit. It's made my world a little bit easier. And I live in Alabama.
Yeah.
That's not a cool place.
It's a little bit cooler with some green.
Someone I know is Steven's wife is from Alabama, right, Jamal?
Yes, I believe so.
She at some event, she got very drunk and she tried to convince my wife that I'd move to Alabama. She's like, no, it's not so bad. She's white, of course, so like she's probably doing great. She's doing great. I mean,
Birmingham's great because they've gone through all the shit, so they know how to live amongst each other. Like it's not. I get more racist. It's more of a classist system. Like I live in an all-white neighborhood, married to a white lady. Kids are mixed. They're like the only ones in fucking school. Often they'll get it mixed up, and like there's another interracial family there, and they'll bring me his kids, and I'll be like, "Hey, bro, you want to switch wives tonight?"
You can't yell that too loud now.
But it's like it's easy to fluctuate around. You just give up a lot of freedom when it comes to work. Like there's no options for like me moving back here from New York after working at Momofuku and like the Bernardin and shit. I gave up everything, man. Like it was only like a few restaurants. You got to spend money to play here. Like I'm not really. I'm more of a guy. I'm a cook's cook. Like people hire me to help them sustain and make money. But I recently just stepped out of the kitchen like 6 weeks ago.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, I'm doing private dinners. Like that's kind of the vibe. After Top Chef, like I let so many people down. And in Birmingham, when it aired, they had like these fucking, I mean, it's Alabama. They have these fucking like massive parties at breweries and shit. Like, go Roscoe, go Roscoe, go Roscoe. And me and my wife just went to New Orleans and hid, thinking no one would see me there. Everyone fucking did. Couldn't go anywhere. And so everyone was like, I'm sorry. So it was like 6 months of I'm sorry. But no one thought about it for a while. And now, since it's like the holidays and the years pass, people are like, you're on Top Chef. Will you do my party? 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 And I usually say yes because I can charge more.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, we're gonna come back to this, but you said you stepped out of the kitchen, so we were gonna come back to that. But there's someone else who stepped out of the kitchen, and has to do with Tom Colicchio, who, I mean, we all know that he's
the
preparing
transition.
now.
What a professional.
He's preparing now to go to Top Chef London. They're filming that now, but
Oh,
before
man.
he went there, he spent some time in what he calls London Part 2, which is just the Australian outback. And so Tom sends us some clips or some readings from his journal that he kept while he was there. Reeves, my co-host who's not here, was also there with him for the first like 2 weeks, but he couldn't stand being there with him, so he left. But I have a little segment from his journal I'd like to read, if that's okay, Roscoe.
Oh,
Yeah.
please do.
I would. Yeah, I'd love to hear it too.
Yes.
Okay, so this one is called, and the first line is called "My Last Day." So this must
it's
be
last
him.
day.
Yeah, this must be him coming home.
Wow.
So, okay. It says, I found a phone charger today. It was in this store attached to what seemed to be fueling stations for cars. Okay, he's in a gas station.
He's forgotten the amenities of the world. He's like, what is all this?
Yeah, he doesn't know. He's been walking about too long. I bought what's called a Go phone because I threw my iPhone in the ocean a long time ago. It was great to be connected to the world again. The first thing I did was listen to my favorite podcast, Pack Your Knives. Their last episode was with Buddha Lowe, the champion of season 19 Houston. I kept calling him Buddha High after he won, but also in general after seeing him. It got confusing. That podcast is so good. They even have sponsors and Kenan Thompson doing ad reads.
What?
I then listened to my pet project podcast, Pod Jeff. There is, and I mean this, no discernible drop off in the quality of content between the two podcasts.
Yeah, baby.
I mean, sure, you can say the production value of Pack Your Knives leaves nothing to be desired, but that's what I like about Pod Chef. It feels like an NYU student who's rushing to a film class edited the show in between subway stops. Real gritty stuff.
It's punk rock podcast, baby.
Yeah, it's punk rock.
Podcast. Yes.
He says, I would love to see a crossover between the three best friends and Kevin Arnovitz and Tom Haberstroh from Pack Your Knives. Interesting. I noticed the hosts of Pack Your Knives state their full names on their Spotify page, and the Pod Chef boys don't. I mean, I get why Reeves wouldn't. He's as private as his private parts. The other two, this is his.
I know. It's just Tom, I'm saying what to Tom. I don't know what's going on.
The other two should release their last names. Siri, set reminder to email Jamal and Brian from the Pod Chef podcast about Top Chef. And then he writes what Siri said. Siri responded, sorry, I did not find that. Did you mean Pack Your Knives podcast about Top Chef? I've been standing at this fueling station too long. I need to hail a car and get to the airport. Time to return to London and finish the new season strong. Okay, so that's it. That's his travel journal.
That's great.
Yeah. That was his last day. So I guess he was at a gas station, getting his phone and charger and then heading to the airport at some point in time after he listened to Pack Your Knives, apparently.
Yeah.
Pack Your Knives.
Yeah.
Don't even.
Did you do Pack Your Knives?
No. They talked about me in one episode and that was it.
Okay.
I've only done like maybe two, like one local and then one that was like a punk rock chef thing. Like, oh, Mr. Punk Rock Chef.
That was our opener before.
Yeah, I had a bunch of punk rock questions to ask you, but I guess I won't now.
No.
Roscoe. Brian is very sensitive about.
It's like first of all, that was a very, very well written travel journal by Tom. I have to make sure that I give credit where credit is due. Fantastic. I didn't know Tom listened to Pack Your Knives.
Neither did I. I just found this out myself.
I wouldn't.
Kind of upset.
No, aren't they both NBA writers? That's why I want to get to know them so I can get to NBA games with them.
Yeah, they do a lot of on their Spotify page and says that they apply the same analytical NBA analysis to Pod Chef.
No, I'm done. Nope, I'm done. I don't care anymore.
That's fucking come on.
I mean,
do we need that?
No. The show is fine. The show is good. It's fine.
Yeah.
Analytics.
Do I need to hear you talk to Buddha Lowe about where he ranked in the all-time points of Top Chef winners? No, I don't. It's not. Well, that's not what I talk about if I was interviewing Buddha. I'd say, hey, did Tom really call you Buddha Eye? Because that's funny.
Buddha High.
Yeah.
Get it?
Yeah.
Those
Yeah,
blue
yeah.
eyes, you know. Those Tom Colicchio's blue eyes. Like you can't resist those puppies.
And they cut into
There's
you.
just something about him too.
God, he's stellar, dude. That was the best experience of Top Chef was getting to hang out with him. I mean, we hung out a lot because I was the first one to go home. And we know a lot of the same cooks, and he's like, I mean, he's like a father figure, but he's also like an older brother, and you can tell he killed people, so it felt like you were protected.
He has that hitman look to him. Isn't that video game, The Hitman?
Dude, and the girls love him. Sasha and Tom, I swear to God.
Well, yeah,
You didn't talk to Sasha. She's awesome.
We haven't. We tried to talk to Sasha. We'll see if we can circle back and get Sasha.
Yeah,
yeah.
My whole season is full of great American chefs who have a vision. Chris is one of the best. Abishar is one of the best. Like they're all fucking. I love everyone from that season, but like the work that certain chefs are putting out right now is fucking genuine. You can see them developing what chefs strive to be, which is like a professional these days when it comes to being brown in the kitchen. And you can see them using their avenues like in the right fucking way, like using Top Chef to get you more of a platform of education through cuisine and not so just like you got to be in the kitchen sweating your dick off. Like they're actually using it, man. They're teaching like their culture and where they come from. But I know who they are. Like they're silly motherfuckers behind the scene, but they're actually playing the game. And it's really cool to see like how they dribble the ball and like fucking crush it. That was a shout out. That was an analytics, sports analytics. They dribble the ball.
What if that's all they did? What if that's what they did? Like they were like, all right, so let's pick your starting 5 Top Chef. This is your starting 5. Who are you taking? Who's taking you all the way? Who's getting you the chip at the end of the year?
And everyone's like, you can't take Voltaggio, brother.
Well, you know,
yeah,
they're just.
You don't take Richard Blaze.
Yeah.
You take like Shota. You take Shota.
Yeah.
Just to scare.
I'm taking Hung because he's gonna play dirty. He's gonna he's gonna do whatever he can to win.
Hung was the best one to me. I mean, there's a lot of great people. Hung was the shit. That's the only reason I really got into that show, man. Watching Hung get down those chickens like 15 years ago.
Man. I mean,
culinary boner. Remember that guy who said that?
Yeah.
I used it at the show. I have a culinary boner. Was that Spike?
Possibly. May have been Spike.
Spike is ducking us.
Yeah, we've asked Spike to come on the show multiple times.
We have a friend who's friends with Spike, and Spike's ducking us.
Ah.
Come on the show, coward. He's gonna beat me up. I am taking boxing classes, so let's do it. Okay.
Well, I have a question if you don't have
Please. No, yeah.
The first episode, I know there's a lot going on in that first episode you're recording, but you're an artist. So my question was, when Richard Blaze came in with his hair on display like an art installation, what was going through your head when you saw that?
I've seen him. We've met a few times because when I moved here, he was rocking this hamburger joint called Flip Burger, and I go to his restaurants in Atlanta. He was doing on molecular shit, and we've met because we have a lot of chef buddies. But the hair wasn't like that. And now that I know he moved to San Diego, I live in San Diego. It's like, wow, people don't really dress like that in San Diego. Maybe things have changed. But immediately when he walks out, Maria starts cracking up, and then they had to redo it of him walking back.
Well, how could you blame her? Like, I started cracking up when I saw it.
Look at that hair, and then they had to redo it again.
Yeah.
Be real. How many times did you guys redo that scene that he walked out and he was like, "Guys, come on, stop it! I'm a professional."
I think it was 3 times because Padma kept talking and Tom was like, "Come on, guys, let's get it together."
Yeah.
But Gregory was there too, and I just was on the phone with Gregory like the night before, and I didn't know he was gonna be there. He was like, "You got this, bro. Like, come on, bro." And I'm like, "Fuck you." Then I see him. I'm like, "Motherfucker."
You could have told me something.
You told me you were here, motherfucker. We gotta stand together.
What was the most like challenging thing that you had going through your head when as soon as they were like, "All right, quick fire, let's go"? Like, what was going through your mind? And then
I think about this all the time. For me, I was really fucking like tapped out from the pandemic. You know what I mean? Like tired and fucking confused. Hadn't been around my wife and kids. Like just working. And then we're in Portland. I was looking out the window of the hotel and watching fucking fires and Molotov cocktails and shit. And so I was thinking about like, damn, can a motherfucker get some weed? Like I was on some G shit. Like I was thinking about food, but I cook all the fucking time. So I'm like, all right, so how do you play this game? Like we weren't allowed to talk the entire day. There was no food, no coffee. You couldn't smoke a ciggy. So I was just like eager. Yeah, I was just eager to what was going to happen next. Like you're just kind of waiting to be told. And then luckily I had Chris and Shota, but the ingredients of what you're supposed to ask for, like an ingredient you can't live without. Like, of course I said rice vinegar because I love it, but I didn't think you were going to fucking give it to me. Like, this is weird.
Yeah.
And we had like seaweed and fucking butter and rice vinegar. I was just like, let's just see what the fuck happens. Like, this is weird. But I didn't notice anyone around me except for Abishar. That was it. Like, Gabriel Pascuzzi was very like, hey Tom.
That tracks. I buy that.
That's perfect.
But I was nervous, but luckily, like, I had a good crew, and we're all just kind of like, I don't know what the fuck we're gonna do, and we all agreed, like, we don't know what the fuck we're gonna do. Let's just see what happens. And it was the first to like see. I mean, you guys saw the setup of that kitchen. Like, it was so much distance. It was
space everybody out.
Large kitchen, dude.
Everyone
when you
sweating.
presented your disc, it was like 14 feet away from you, like sweaty, like here's rice vinegar.
Yeah, hands on knees, being like, okay, so what I made for you. Oh God. Yeah.
Here's some water.
It was weird, man. It was like Sarah mentioned, they courted me as well.
Ooh.
I didn't. I know my age. I know my worth. I would never really like seek out to apply for that in my 40s, but they reached out. I don't know how or why. But I kind of blew it off like, yeah, this shit ain't gonna happen. They're like, and they called and be like, did you fill this out? Did you fill this? I'm like, yeah, I'll get to it when I can. So I just filled out shit, and then all of a sudden, like, I get a phone call from like Brooke on FaceTime with like all these other people. Like, you made it. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Is this a joke?
Get the fuck out of here. All right, when do I leave? Oh, all right. It was like a chef camp that went wrong, you know? It was kind of like a horror movie. Like, I mean, you saw a bunch of white people beating up white people. That's scary. I remember sitting outside to, they had like helpers or whatever that would like take you places like once a day, and they would take you outside to smoke a cigarette or sneak something. And I remember hiding. Like, I pulled up, I saw a bunch of motherfuckers wearing black hoodies and like with backpacks, and they all had masks on and shit. And I was like, fuck this, we gotta get out of here. And then they walked by, and there were a bunch of Black Lives Matter protesters. Look at me, they were like all there to help me. But I got scared. Touch Up was weird, man. It was really fucking weird. I'm glad I did it, sort of, sometimes. I just know I'm a better cook, and I know everyone knows it and knew it, and it wasn't that big of a deal. But looking back at it, like, every now and then you'll think about it. Like, I challenge myself. I'm a much better cook now because of that show. I think it was like a recognition thing, I was like, oh fuck, I got like hella skill, yo. I can do all kinds of shit. I'm gonna get me a scholarship.
Were you able to? You You mentioned that some did like sneak you things. Like, were they able to get, ingredients that you might have wanted to partake in when you were off the show, when you were sequestered, just watching TV in a hotel room?
You can get some booze, never alcohol, because they were scared we were gonna fucking get depressed, listen to Metallica, and like shoot that bitch down. So they got us beer and wine, only stuff from Oregon. So it was all disgusting and like overly sweet, like flavored. It was all cold food. It was sad, dude. Did anyone ever tell you guys what I did when I got kicked off by each other? I got them to buy me a bunch of. First, I was the first one who went home, and it was like you have to interview. I didn't get out. Like I lost at noon probably, and didn't get home till 3 a.m. because I had to interview and talk about like why I lost and shit like that. Right.
Jeez.
So I get home and the lady's like, "What do you need?" And I was like, 6-pack of beer and a fucking burrito and like a whole pack of cigarettes right now. And like it took till 6 a.m. I was watching Sex in the City. What? Drinking and eating burritos and crying basically in my bed. When I got my shit together, I was like, can I get some watercolors and like a canvas and a bunch of like watercolor paper? And I just fucking painted and drew everything that bothered me. Like I drew like a fake box of cereal called Lakshi's, Padma O's, Tom O's. Like I drew out of our LR challenge, and then they let me hang it all in the hallway. Where we were all staying. So whenever a new person came in, they wouldn't be hit with sadness because they saw this fucking hilarious shit about Top Chef,
Yeah.
And then we all started doing Last Chef's Kitchen. It was great. I tried to sneak some weed in. It didn't work. They caught it within like the first day.
Really?
Well, they probably smelt it, and you didn't put a towel down. So,
did you try putting it in? Did you try putting it in coffee or peanut butter?
Yeah, no, I didn't. I should have done the peanut butter trick. But I need it. I have a peanut allergy.
Okay, yeah.
I gotta eat peanut butter every day.
I love it. Every time I've traveled and I've taken coffee back from a place, it's like, oh, we're doing a random check. And I'm like, yeah, I know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You see coffee in my bag and you think that I'm doing it's actually coffee. You're going to feel stupid, not me.
It's good coffee out here.
Yeah,
dude.
it's actually good coffee here in Chicago. So, that's what I'm doing. So, yeah, you completely missed my shoe bag full of cocaine. So that's on you because you were focused on the coffee. Yeah, so we're going to come back to the painting because that's a good segue, but it's time now to do a segment we do every week called Chefs I Prepared for You. Mm-hmm. This is a segment where we talk about what we had for dinner last night and only last night, and we present it as if we're presenting it to the judges on Top Chef, and there will be a winner at the end. I will go first. Chefs I prepared for you, and I mean I took painstaking preparations for this. A homemade, perfectly cooked pepperoni pizza.
Oh.
I got home and I went through my fridge and I said, "Oh, before this sauce goes," I've been making pizzas a lot recently, homemade pizzas a lot, and I said, before this sauce goes bad, I better just use it up. And so I made the dough, and now I'm to the point where I can just do it without even looking at the recipe. I got it locked in my brain.
Oh.
Kneaded the dough, used the proofing function on my oven, let it sit there for 2 hours. Just beautiful smells and just popped up and just like a cloud pillow when I pulled it out.
The yeast coming alive, doing what it does. It's an organism.
A brand new pizza crisper pan showed up in the mail, and I was like, you must be used right away. And so I sprinkled down some cornmeal in the dough, and I pre-baked the dough for 5 minutes in the oven and brought it out and put down my garlic and my sauce and my cheese and my pepperoni. Then I let that bad boy go back in the oven, and this was a beautiful pepperoni pizza. By the time it came out, perfectly crisp. I brushed the crust with olive oil and salt.
Whoa.
And I mean, the flavors on this bad boy were just phenomenal.
Come on, dude.
I dubbed it the Roni Boy.
The Roni Boy, Tenderoni Boy.
Yeah. So that's what I made last night. Brian, you're up.
It looks good. So we have.
Yeah.
Paul sent me a picture. It looks good. I did notice that you used a knife to cut it. Do you not have a pizza cutter?
Here's why I'm using the knife and not pizza cutter. Because the pizza size, I'm always afraid that I'm gonna mess up and like go over the edge and then hit something.
Yeah, I get that.
It's happened before, and I
knock over everything off your counter.
Yeah, I've put it down and run it through, and then not gauged how hard I'm pressing, and it's just gone into.
And you're out the door. It takes
yeah,
you
I'm
out the door
basically, and then I'm like, the momentum's carrying me, and I'm like,
you're
oh
just
great.
going-
Now I got to
going-
wait for this to come back around. Thanks, Newton. so by the time I make a circle back around, I'm like, I do another cut, and I'm back out the door. I'm like, I should have turned the pizza.
It takes days to eat this pizza.
Yeah, it took me all night to finish it. It was just because I was cutting slices.
Okay, you know what? Great answer. Chefs, last night I procured for you. I was at a wrestling event last night. I was at AEW's Rampage here in Newark, and I had to get food there. So what I procured for you was chicken tendies and French fries, and they were gross. They are really bad. They did come with honey mustard, which like I love some bad honey mustard. The cheaper the honey mustard, the more I'm into it. I want the honey mustard to just taste like sugar. No bite to it at all. Maybe a little bit of bite. I think some bite. I think the Chick-fil-A honey mustard is solid. That's a good honey mustard, and it's got a good bite to it.
Yeah.
So overall, it's a real sad meal that cost me $27 for chicken tendies and fries, a Pepsi because they didn't have Coke; they only had Pepsi, which not for me. And I said, "Do you have cherry Pepsi?" And she was like, "No." I was like, "Well, what do you have?" And she said, "Diet Pepsi, Pepsi Zero, and Pepsi."
Damn.
I was like, "Just give me a Pepsi." And I bought my wife a bottle of water, and that's all we had, $27. So that's what I had. So I'm going to lose this round of chefs I prepared for you, but you know what? I had fun.
Well, I mean, you were technically, I guess this counts because you were at an event, so you had to eat the food there. So it was a catered event, technically.
Yeah, it was fancy.
All right, Roscoe, what did you have?
Oh, mine's a 3-part. You ready for this?
Wow, oh boy!
It even involves different restaurants.
Oh boy!
In which I cooked my own. Friday night's pizza movie night with the family, with the kids. So it's important. You got to run your shit. Luckily, I've been running 2 pizza shops for the past 2 years. Wood-fired, black-owned, which is fucking crazy. Really crazy job. But whenever it's pizza movie night, I show up, show some love to the guy running the oven. I slap out my own dough, make my kids an extra cheese, but I figured out how to stuff it while I work there.
Wow.
Stuffed cheese, extra cheese sauce on top. Wow. And then I make my wife, I think I did an herb oil with Calabrian chilies, fresh mozz, and like diced sopressata. Then went to my buddy's restaurant called Helen. That's a fine dining spot. Got some Brussels, threw it in his wood fire oven, and also got some like chunky Benton's bacon. Threw that in a bowl with some of his rosemary oil, Calabrian chilies again. Brought that shit home. My wife's a food stylist, so she makes food look pretty for like Food and Wine magazine and shit. Wow. She brought home. There's this thing called the Big White Cake for Southern Living magazine. It's like the hardest, most important thing ever. And she did it, but she brought home the Big White Cake, and boom! I mean, chefs, I present to you. Wow. I present to you 2 pizzas, a Brussels sprout salad, and a Big White Cake.
That is okay. So there's no point in us voting.
Well, we have to, Jamal. We have to vote. Look, democracy dies in the dark. Okay, so we have to do this right. Okay.
Okay. So Roscoe, this is how this works. We all can vote, but we are not allowed to vote for ourselves.
Okay.
The last couple times we've done this, it's been a stalemate.
So better do some runoffs a few times.
Yeah. So we'll see if we get democracy right this time. Okay, I'll go first. I'm gonna vote for Roscoe.
Okay. Sometimes I vote just to make the show hard and to make the things like not go well, but I can't not vote for Roscoe. That was wild.
Yeah.
So I'm voting for Roscoe. And
I mean, and this is a situation where I hate to say it, a black person vote doesn't really matter because it's already the majority has already spoken, Roscoe. I mean, you can vote. You can go to the polling station if you'd like. But
we're going to need to see your ID and your voter ID. And
I need to make sure that your current address. Yeah, I need to make sure your current address matches what I'm seeing on this ID. And then after you cast your vote, it won't matter because the majority has already spoken.
That's over.
Yeah. But you can vote still.
I would vote for Jamal because he sucked.
Yeah.
But I would vote for you because of the honey mustard focus.
Oh, wow. So we're splitting the vote.
Honey mustard's very important, man. Like you can make a real shitty one. Like there's a lot of shitty honey mustards. Oh, Charlie's. You ever been there?
I've never.
I think I have. I think there might be one. My roommate worked at one in Richmond, Virginia when I went to school there, I think.
Richmond totally has fucking Oh Charlie's.
Yeah, I
Oh,
definitely, yeah.
Great town. Has the best honey mustard out here.
Oh, it
I'll
does?
send
Okay.
you a bottle. Yeah, it slaps. It
It
slaps.
slaps.
I'll have to check that out. I do.
All right.
That is, I did want to bring up Richmond. I know that we put a pin in punk rock.
Mhm.
Look, I'll pretend that I like punk rock, and I do, but I've always been a pop punk person, and I know a lot
Yeah, I
of punk
love
people
pop too. Yeah.
don't like fuck with that, but I'm a child of like late '90s, early 2000s. Well, I
Yeah.
wasn't a child. I was like 18 then, so
Still a child.
So,
so I'm like a big like Newfound Glory, Movie Life,
yeah.
like those are bands that I fucks with. So I never really got super into like punk.
Mhm.
Too soft for it. But I was in a punk band in like high school, and we would do like Pennywise covers and
Oh,
things like
nice.
that.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Um,
Come on,
so
man.
yeah, I was gonna say like if you, because I don't know, I know Brittany lived in Richmond and she has tattoos, so I assumed that she was into punk rock too, but I
She
don't
is
know.
into punk rock.
Yep.
Brittany's
Okay.
she's a diamond in the rough, man. That girl's a fucking badass. She likes gore. She loves Missy. Like Richmond is lucky to have her, and she's Virginia to a T. She's like a female Sean Brock, you know.
Hmm.
But when we went and visited her, it was mostly just like hip hop, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, but she's down. I mean, I always forget that tattoos don't mean that you are like a metal or like punk rock or like a biker or like dangerous
Not anymore.
anymore. Isn't that crazy? It used
It's
to be
not,
like
but
a code.
yeah, it doesn't mean so much anymore. But when I was like Richmond and tattoos, I was like, I kind of have like. There's not
Yeah.
that many people unless you like are going to U of R, then you might
Mhm.
not be there. But if you're like downtown the Fan or like VCU, you are like probably listening to punk rock.
Yeah, because Avail's from there,
Hmm.
Gore's from there, a bunch of great punk rockers are there, and she knew like all of them. I met a lot of great punk rockers who were all in the fine dining, like they were all at a restaurant.
Yeah, that's like wild. Like punk was like a big like cooking thing back
It
in the
was.
'90s when it was like together. Was that like that's when like Bourdain was doing his stuff too, right? He was
Yeah.
a big punk rock guy and doing
When his book
shipping.
came out, I was like 17 maybe, and it changed fucking the whole fucking game because we were all doing blow, all trying to have sex with MILFs and like trying to like get it going, and then listening to him and watching that book. It was like him, and there was a black chef who had a book called Cooked, I believe, and he had been locked up for doing coke in the restaurants. And then when he got out from coke, got out from prison, he came back and started becoming like a real chef. I feel bad. I'm like kind of making fun of him, but like it was a good book. My mom was like, "You a chef, baby? You need to read this. It's about your time." But it was
I think
those
something
two
my mom
books
would
that were
say.
like, because he was really into social distortion as like a black dude, and I was like, "What the fuck is this? Like, do I need to like? Is cooking just like the alternative black guy? Like, and there was no black people back then. Like, one thing cool about Top Chef is I have met more African American chefs than we all talk to each other. Like Eric, Kwame. Like I met them before the show, but like it's a little bit tighter because it's a small market, you know?
Hmm.
You're always playing that game. Like that's one of the main reasons I don't say fucking yes chef to anybody. Because after like doing that, and you work with some like fucking quasi neo Nazis in like bigger cities who are fucking dicks. Like you hear me, boy, and you're like fuck you. You're
Oof.
done. Like you're gonna get fired. So you always be like, yeah, chef.
Hmm.
You feel like Denzel Washington with that one tear in Glory. You're on the line, just like that belt don't hurt.
Not the glory tier. That was a powerful tier.
Oh, that was a strong fucking tear. I do that shit every night, man.
That was the tier all black men don't want to shed.
Oh fuck no!
Yeah.
If it comes out, woo,
Yeah.
glory. Shit.
Never seen it. So
I
think
knew it.
I've seen it. I've seen it. I don't know if I have seen it. My wife has seen it, and she's referenced it to me before. What bands are you still rocking with? The bands that you did like when you were 18, 19, 20? Or are there any like newer bands you're into now?
Oh man, I can't live without music. I got lost because punk was like high school and like it was still going. We had propaganda and all that shit. Subhumans and like a bunch of whacked out stuff. But I'm a Chicago kid, so we also had like really good fucking rock and roll, like real good shit. Like Pavement. I was a Pavement person.
Okay.
And that's all the kind of stuff I listen to, like what I consider dad rock. It's like a lot of metal. I love house music because I'm from Chicago, so I listen to a shit ton of house, which is weird that house music is kind of popular again, like mainstream. Thank you, Beyonce and Drake, for doing it. We really needed your fucking support. But like I was a Rasta from like I had dreads from like age 11 to age 32. So I used to be a DJ. I span reggae and punk rock like every city I've lived in. San Francisco, like I have a massive punk and reggae collection, but I mainly just listen to fucking reggae like 24/7, especially since I become a dad. It's just like that shit calms you down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I listen to a lot of trap. I listen to a lot of hip hop because majority of the people I fuck with in restaurants, especially down here, like you're not getting the kind of cooks that you would get like were my other people. That's the thing about going on that show. Like I was working with a bunch of fucking felons at Rodney's and like teaching them how to become like the real deal. I wasn't hanging out with any fucking tweezers for real. Like I knew my shit, but I was also running fucking like one of the hardest things to cook on a regular. It's 3 a.m. till fucking like 9 p.m. like 5-6 days a week. But I was dealing with like thugs, like don't bring your gun to school, man. Fuck you, like shit like that.
Yeah.
So when I show up there, I'm like, what the fuck are y'all talking about? I'm going home. Oh, you want to do some real shit, nigga?
All over
So, like, I'm surrounded by that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in Birmingham, like major city, but you're surrounded by thugs. Like my cousin works for T.I. in Atlanta. Like, we go to the Trap Museum and hang out with tons of like Gucci Man shit. Like, I can fluctuate through that, but still be into the punk thing. But I'm definitely more than ever in my life, I've actually been embraced in like blackness since I've moved back to the Southeast. Like, it's thick.
Has that influenced your art?
Oh yeah, man. It's influenced it in a major way because as I come home, my wife's white. So I'm like constantly confused. White people hate like white people. So that's confusing as fuck. I don't want to be on the same side.
Well, now I don't know what to do. What do you want me to do? I'll do it. Tell me what to do. I'll do it.
I'm like, white people aren't that bad just to piss her off. But it's influenced it because now I'm more like my the grandfather started a barbecue restaurant in the 50s called Dreamland Barbecue in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. It was burned down by the Klan. He rebuilt it because he was a brick mason. And it's been open. Like, it's still fucking open. We moved from Chicago, so my mom could like franchise it, and she opened like 8 more. But as of recently, I've moved back here. My mom's going through some like crazy mental health. I've been back here for probably 11 years, and she sold the business like as of recently. So I've been like dealing with that through my art and like trying to look deeper about what was going on in like the 80s, like during Johnny Gill era, and like watching like people smoke crack and shit. And like, I've been dealing with that in my art. So more blackness is coming out through my art. And the chef world has no idea that I'm really a painter. And so when they see it, because chef world, they all think I'm like just some like black white kid, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I've been there. World, I know exactly what you mean. Some black white kid. You couldn't sum up my life better.
I've always been that guy. Like,
yeah.
I've always been that guy. Like, I mean, I've seen fish. I don't even like fucking fish, but I did it for drugs. But I saw Fish and Dave Matthews in high school at least like 7 fucking times, and I hate both of them.
Yep. Yeah.
I've never seen either of those bands, so that's whatever.
Yeah.
I've listened to Mumford and Sons,
but I have been to a Wale concert, so
yeah. And Brian showed up and said, "Can you turn it down? A little loud."
No, I had a great time. It was fantastic, and I saw Childish Gambino with a full band in DC also before he like started doing like full like rap when he was like fully doing like band stuff. It was great. It was so good.
I bet that was sick.
Yeah. Wale had a full band too, and J. Cole opened for him. It was just him and a laptop.
That's a great show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was when it was real, man.
So Kanye West at the Verizon Center.
Oh
which
shit! We don't
was
say
a
his
wild show.
We can't say his name, Chef.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
no,
no, I saw the
shut up,
guy.
shut up, shut up, shut up. You can't
Shit.
talk
Okay,
about it.
nope. You know what? But I listened to
Okay, look,
Pop
they're
News
coming
and
for me because you talk
Cosby
emo.
about
West. That's why you just throw it at Cosby West. R. Cosby West.
I have a question about your no farting painting that I was looking at on
Yes.
your Scott Miller Project page.
Mhm.
Is that inspired by your time at Rodney Scott's barbecue joint? Because when I looked at that painting, I was like, that looks like someone who's tired from
That's
making barbecue.
It was, man. That's my grandfather, the guy who started Dreamland Barbecue.
Okay. Wow.
And he's famous for some odd reason. He got one of his artist buddies to write a sign over the bathroom that says no farting. So like at every Dreamland, there's like a neon sign somewhere that says no farting.
That's very funny. I would definitely be a person to take a picture of that.
That painting's crazy. It lives at this dude's house in Canada, I think. But he showed me a picture of it finally. Yeah, that shit's been kind of weird. I'm trying to merge the food and painting thing, but I can't do it without being cheesy.
I was gonna ask you because like they have those like wine and paint situations.
Yeah.
Is there like a cool way to do that where
I
you
don't
could?
think there is.
No.
I'm working on a series, like a cookbook series, where I'm taking like my friends' recipes, like that. Like all of us have had like a great recipe for a restaurant that failed, but like it was banging before it failed. You know what I mean? And call it the bad deal. But I've gotten a bunch of chefs send me these recipes, and I'll burn them on a screen, and I do printmaking prints of them. And I'm gonna make this little like kind of like a mailing list, like newsletter, to get money up to compile a whole book called A Bad Deal. That's all my friends like failing recipes, but do art like with it. That's the only way I can think of like how to combine it without being like super cheesy. And I sell a lot of paintings to chefs for their restaurants. And that's cool, but they don't really give me a shout out on Instagram, you bitches.
They don't tag you.
Don't you hate that? Hey man, thanks for the painting. Love it.
Yeah.
Do you want to? How much do you love it?
Fucking put it on. Like,
you want to
give me a
like
discount.
tell people who gave it to you.
Treat me like a side piece, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're planning like a zine, sort of? Is that like kind of what it's going to be to like make money at first?
Yes, make money first, and then piece together the book. I have like all my favorite like African American chefs, mostly like Philly, DC based, and then a few people in the Southeast, and I like all my homies from Top Chef, like Sasha, Brittany Abishar, Chris, of course, Nelson. Nelson's the fucking man. None from anybody else though. I mean, I fucked with everybody from my season, I really do, but like I was the old guy on that show. I mean, Dom was older than me, but like I didn't really have anything to offer to those dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like if they fuck with me, they fuck with me. But like I was on a different like I don't know. I was on a different playing game. I was the only one. Me and Gabe both had kids. Like I don't know. I knew him because he rocked one of my homies' restaurants in Atlanta, but none of them really. I don't think they fuck with me for real. Like I was on a whole nother level. I got drunk at a reunion setup we had in Seattle, and it was at the time when what's this dude, man? Eduardo Jordan in Seattle, the black chef, got in trouble for fucking touching all these girls' booties and shit. And like didn't even deny it, he just came out and said what the fuck he did in the city of Seattle, like kind of fucking as they should, like kicked his fucking ass. And like I was pissed about it because like I looked up to this dude, like he's a black chef. There's not a lot of them. He was on fucking Mind of a Chef or whatever the fuck with David Chang, and I got pissed. And while I was in Seattle, I got drunk and let people know how I felt.
Mm-hmm.
And I may have dropped the N-word a couple times, and a lot of Top Chef guys from my season don't really talk to me.
Now, okay, this is good. This is good. So I experience this sometimes. I don't drop the N-bomb, but when I do, it creates craters.
Yeah.
So is it they're like, oh, if Roscoe gets drunk, he might drop the N-bomb, or is it like we don't know if we feel comfortable in this collection of friends speaking this freely?
Yeah, I think it's both because I will call. Like I got drunk at another event. This happens a lot, and called
noticing a pattern.
Yeah, I called like someone who's not black the N word, and I kept saying it because to me inside it was like a Chappelle moment. It was like really that I was doing it. I knew it was like very effective. I was like, oh, Roscoe, damn. I apologize, but I just think I don't know, man. It's either like I'm a chef, but I'm like a fucking like I'm an old cat, man. These kids they got like a different outlook on the whole game. Like I fuck with people who are just cooks on a regular. My homies are chefs, and like I'll spend up to $3,000 on a fucking meal at any point. I love food as much as I love anything, but like I don't know, we just don't speak the same language anymore, man. It's a different vibe. I've been kind of jaded from it, you know.
Yeah.
I don't have a culinary boner about fucking going to Spain and jerking off on an anchovy.
Yeah. It's still there. It's just got soft spots.
Yes.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
It's like wild to hear that's been your experience, because from the outside watching Top Chef, it has like, because we're going back and watching old season, and it has like at least seems to have gotten better in that, like we're watching season 6 now, and Ron gets sent home. And it's like Ron's a great cook, but Ron doesn't do fancy French. And back then they didn't care. It was like you do fancy French shit or you go home. And Ron gets home because Ron didn't know how to deconstruct something.
Yes.
And it's like, who the fuck cares? Like Ron could cook the shit out of like his style of food. It seems like now at least they are a little better at that.
They are. I just fucked up. I choked completely because I was coming off of Rodney's, and we cook like hella meat, bro. Like I can cook I can cook a fucking duck. I was just like, I just choked. I didn't know what I was doing. He had to buy from an app. I just felt the city was on fire. I just choked. I was like, God damn. Even after I lost, before I lost, Tom was like, man, you really, like, what the fuck were you thinking, Roscoe? I'm like, I don't know. He was like, how, on the top 10, on a scale of 10, or 1 to 10, how, was that the worst dish you ever made? I was like, fucking 15. Worst dish I've ever made in my fucking life. Kwame was like, Roscoe, what the fuck, bro? And Gregory was like, dude, what happened?
Did it actively taste bad, or was it bad because like
it was just,
we are all chefs?
Bad. It was just fucking a mess, man. And Sarah, I was hoping she'd talk about it. She was sitting next to me that day because it was a long day before judges table, and she was fucking flipping out, dude. Like her eyes looked like she was seeing Salvador Dali or something. She was like, and we couldn't talk, so I'd just be like, "Girl, you all right?" And she was like, So I felt the vibe, and I was like, "I'm going home. You calm the fuck down. I'm going home." And they were like, "Roscoe." I'm like, man, fuck that. I remember when I left, they cut it out. They cut out a lot of really.
Did you say the N word when you left?
I call him. When I left, they were like, "Well, Roscoe, you lost." And I was like, "Yeah, I'd rather not talk about it on camera." And they're just like, "What?" I was like, "Real nigga shit. Like, I don't want to talk about it." And then when I left, Kiki, Chris, and Nelson all screamed Black Lives Matter and like threw up the fist, and everyone clapped, and they cut that shit out. It was gonna be
wow. And now that technically counts as last chance dishing.
Yes.
We would have never known that they cut out that would have been a great shot.
That's
a great moment. And they cut it out for time, which means they left in some piece of shit B-roll that wasn't necessary for the show.
They filmed us walking underneath the Black Lives Matter sign.
Didn't use that either.
As our introduction shot, like coming in on the train.
One of the main shots was like the painted street too, right? I think that was, I remember seeing that.
Mm-hmm.
They painted over that eventually. People are crazy.
Basically, all I did was hang out. I got to hang out for like 6 weeks. Like as everyone lost, I would be like, "Yo, what up, dog?" And they'd be like, "Oh, what up?" We just party and order food and fucking.
You kind of had that vibe, Last Chance Kitchen, when you showed up.
Oh hell yeah, dude! Last Chance Kitchen was awesome. That shit was great. Me and Sasha fucking man, hanging out with Tom and just cooking your ass off, because that's the kind of cooking I really like to do. Like, let's fucking go. And it was a good time. He liked all the food. Sasha and everyone got to see that I actually could cook. It was just a good fucking time until Pascuzzi showed up.
Yeah.
Shout out to Gabriel Pascuzzi. If you ever listen to this, you're born a bitch.
It's like, did Gabe show up and he was like, hey Tom, can you check this? Can you check this, Tom? You know I worked for you, right? You remember I worked for you?
I worked for you. He's still like that. I think I call him the N-word.
I love it. I
You
do
gotta
this to
be-
my white friends
You gotta
sometimes. It
be
makes them so
careful. You gotta
uncomfortable.
be careful because if you do it too much, then they'll say it back, and they're like, "No, I can say it now."
Dude, I went recently down here. I'm doing this project of fried chicken. I'm consulting on a fried chicken restaurant in Montgomery, Alabama for the Legacy Museum. It's a very sad museum. Picture this: all these white people travel far to like go see what they did to black people, and then they try and go out to eat. And
Yeah.
it's like just pure sadness. So they're
Yeah.
like, "Hey, Roscoe, you're on Top Chef. Can you make this fun?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll make fried chicken. It'll be fun." But I went to this punk rock festival, and I ended up meeting all these fucking kids who they're snake handlers. Like they come from like snake handling families. What?
Wow.
They told me all these fucking dude, it's fucking trippy as fuck out here. But the guy called me. He was like, "Man, I don't really have that many black friends." I was like, "Oh god, here we go."
Here we go.
And he was like, "Man,
It's a
the black
scary
friends I
sentence.
did have, man, I could say stuff around them because they were my dogs, man. Like, you're a cool motherfucker, man. You're a cool nigga, man." And I was like,
Oh no!
and I was like outnumbered. So I was like, yeah, that's cool. Like, yeah, you are too.
All right. That's the thing that black people will do. If you're white and you say the N-word, we will take a quick survey of the land and be like, "Can I take how many people are here? I think I could take these people, so I can get angry."
It's never really happened. I've never experienced too much racism in kitchens over the years. Like, not a lot. Like at Sambar, I mean, everyone was fucking from everywhere, and that was chill. Chez Panisse, like no one talked at all.
That's got to be a weird experience to go to work for hours and no one's really speaking.
Yeah, it's clean, man. I had one job at a Michelin restaurant. I guess Sambar had a Michelin, but like it was quiet as fuck. They had like earbuds on, like headphones,
Wow.
and they would tell you to fire a dish.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Shit ain't for me. I
wild.
remember I got busted smoking weed, or they smelled weed in my locker at Sambar, and like the director called me in the office, like, "Roscoe, come on now." And I was like, "What the fuck? Are y'all tripping? Like, it's fucking weed, dude. Like, I'm not high at work. Like, what the fuck, bro? Like, y'all smoke weed. Come on, Mr. Chang."
Yeah. You guys are mad about the weed? I saw you guys doing lines of coke. Like, you're busting me for the weed? Like, come on.
Weed and the N-word will scare any.
Yeah.
Needless to say, Bravo hasn't called me for anything.
Before we wrap up, I had to ask you about the pizza. So you switched and now you're doing some pizza restaurants?
Yeah, I came back. I left Rodney's over some like weird management shit, and I was just tired. Like they were about to open like 8 stores, and that shit's really hard to train people consistency. But he's still my boy. We talk all the time. I'm in his cookbook. I wrote like half his cookbook, which is great. He's a homie. He opened up my eyes to a lot. But then my buddy John Hall, we both do private dinners in the city. But he worked at Gramercy Tavern while I was at Sambar. And when I left Sambar to go to Baltimore, he worked at Momofuku as well. And he's from Birmingham. So when I moved back, we ended up linking up at a pop-up I did. And he owns pizza shops. So when I came back from Top Chef, he was just like, "How about you handle this shit? I just met this girl. I'm going to try and fuck around with her and like see where it's going to go. And you run my pizza shops." And I was like, "All right." And then you can't hire anybody. It's like the worst time ever to own a fucking restaurant. So I was like, "Bro, this is horrible." Like, I got to get So I was like, "I'm out, nigga." And so 6 weeks ago, I had an art show planned in Connecticut during the Armory Art Fair in New York. So I went to New York. I had the show. Ended up getting a piece in the permanent collection of the fucking Whitney.
Oh shit!
Yeah, like shit's changing completely with the art. I got 4 shows in January. Like the art thing's actually working out. I don't know what the fuck happened. I don't know. The Top Chef maybe had a lot to do with that, like the transition, possibly.
Maybe more people just finding out that you do art because of it.
But chef, like the art world doesn't care about my chef shit, which is fucking weird to me because you think they'd be down with that.
Yeah.
It's art.
Don't you like food?
Yeah, like what the fuck's going on with that? And then the chefs
Making
like,
good food is art.
like we told, and the chef here, he was like, "What have you been doing? Are you out in the kitchen?" I'm like, "Yeah." And I'm always scared to tell people that I'm painting for a living. I've always been that way because I feel like I'm Gavin from Bush or something. Just like fake. But this guy was like, "How's that going to supply for your family?" And I was like, "Little do you know, it fucking does." Like,
It's fucking doing it now. How about that?
yeah, I'm like, good lord. So yeah, I stepped away from pizza, which pizza's the shit. Cooking wood fire pizza's the fucking shit. That's a great. I never knew it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, you don't have to tell me. I've been making it for the last 3 weeks.
Hell yeah, dude, pizza's a blast.
Do you have any
All
like
right.
little tips for Jamal in your experience? Anything he could do to like
Ooh.
really take his game to the next level?
I've got
'Cause
a
the pizzas
pizza
look
stone
great.
coming. I've got a
You
pizza
need
stone
to
coming.
ferment your dough. Do an overnight. Let your dough rest for overnight.
I did 24 hours
Uh-huh.
a week ago, but I should probably do it again now that I know the dough recipe better.
Yeah, we did a 72-hour ferment.
Just let it sit where?
We'd punch it down every day. You let it sit in a cool place, like covered. But the flavor that comes out of that is
Oh, that's how you get the flavor. Because I added a little bit more salt to the recipe, thinking
Oh,
that
what
would
a
bring.
yeasty. Dude,
Yeah.
I went to the fucking Las Vegas International Pizza Convention this year. Fucking lit. If you want to meet there, I will spend money to go to the fucking pizza festival with you because you meet. I mean, every chef in the world is there, and there's
Okay.
this family called the Caputo family who
Holy crap.
own the oldest ancient grain, and they like show up and they make all the best pizzas, and they wear boxing jerseys and shit.
I'm gonna look in. I didn't know there was a pizza expo. Of course, there's gonna be one.
There's one on the East Coast. It's in Jersey. It happened recently because my favorite pizza right now is out of Jersey. It's in Jersey City called Raza. Dan Richer.
Oh, I saw that place on a list when I was looking for places to go near here.
It's fucking
go check that out.
He's a nice guy too. Really nice.
So I'm gonna let my dough ferment for longer and it develops the flavor longer.
Yep.
Better. Okay, I'm gonna do that next time I start doing a round of pizzas.
Yeah.
Before we get out of here, we have one last segment that's called Add Foam, Debone, and Send Home, which makes sense because we're about to end it. So traditionally, we ask the guests to pick of the three guests, me, Reeves, or Brian, add foam, debone, or send home. But since it's just the three of us, we only have the three of us to pick from. So, Roscoe, of the three of us, who would you add foam to? Who would you debone? And who would you send home?
And this means whatever you want it to mean.
Yeah, they mean whatever you think it means.
Debone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever that means to you.
Whatever that means to you.
I mean, it could mean so many things.
It could mean nothing.
Debone, what was the first one? Phone?
Add foam.
Add foam. Ooh. Is this sexual?
We did have a FMK called Fry, Marinate, and Cook.
Whoa. All right. Is it? Oh, man, I wasn't ready for this one, man. Debone, add foam. I'll debone Brian.
Okay.
I'll add foam to you. And I'll do what's the third one?
Send home.
I went home, so I'm going to send this.
You're going to send yourself home. All right. So this is two brown guests in a row who have not sent me home.
You have to explain.
All the other guests have always sent me home. And I don't want to say that that's a racial thing, but these niggas keep sending me home. So so it is what it is.
We did have Nelson on last week was our last guest, and he didn't send Jamal home. Yeah, so but everyone else did. Dale sent him home.
Yeah,
Sarah sent him home. Harold Beatley sent him home.
Everyone wants to send me home. I don't know why it is. They've had enough of me after an hour of being.
What do you think Dale wouldn't send you out?
Well, we met up with Dale at his restaurant Goose Feather, and he said, "Okay, now I'm sending you home because you've ate at my restaurant, so please go home."
No, Dale's a cool guy. Dale's a very cool guy.
Yeah,
Roscoe, this was a great interview. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Is there anything you want to plug before we get out of here?
Look out for me in art world stuff. And I'm cooking still. And shout out to what season was it on? 16?
18.
Shout out to season 18, PDX, Fires, all that stuff. I love everybody.
All right. Check out Roscoe Hall on Instagram. You can find his art and his food. Roscoe, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Sco, it's time to go. We're gonna pack our knives. There we go.
Thanks, man.
Thank you, guys.
This is great, guys. You guys got something here. This is fun.